Let's talk about the Admirals. Being one of the most powerful factions in all of One Piece, as well as one of the major opposing forces threatening the Straw Hats from reaching their goals, the Admirals are unquestionably some of the most important characters in the entire series. In this video, I'll be ranking all the known Admirals in the history of One Piece at their current strength, for the most part, but we'll get to that later. Spoiler warning ahead, as this list contains details from the most recent chapters, especially when considering one mainly unknown Admiral. And with that, let's get to it. The weakest Admiral is pretty obvious, but it's Z or Zephyr. There isn't much to say about Zephyr, as I think it was pretty obvious he was going to be at the bottom of this list. He lost to a pre-Gear 4th Luffy, the same Luffy who couldn't defeat Doflamingo or Cracker. Zephyr's best feat is probably the fact that he trained many of the Marines, as well as most of the Admirals on this list, and it's possible that he was more powerful in his younger ages. That being said, age doesn't make characters like Garp, Sengoku, or Whitebeard as weak as Zephyr was, so it's fair to assume Zephyr doesn't hold a candle to these said characters. I was honestly unsure of even adding Zephyr to this list, as he is from a non-canon movie, but since I did, and considering everything else previously mentioned, putting Zephyr at the bottom is only fair. Number 6 goes to my favorite Admiral and one of my favorite characters in the entire series, Wisteria Tiger Fujitora. I absolutely love this character. I believe he's one of the best written and designed characters in the entire series. From his cutout eyes, to his seemingly innocent old man demeanor, to his absolutely badass devil fruit, there are just a plethora of positive things I could say about Isho. However, I must explain why he's so close to the bottom of this list, as Fujitora is incredibly powerful with one of the most broken devil fruits in the entire series. First, his personality definitely holds him back, as he's easily the most kind-hearted of all the Admirals, but what really deters Fujitora from being higher on this list is the fact that he doesn't really have much to show. Sure, it's absolutely badass that he conjures a meteor and sends it down on Doffy and Law, but they still avoid it, and considering the strength of these two, an Admiral should be leagues above them. While I do believe he is leagues above them, there are just too many scenes where we see him clashing evenly with Doffy to make me have confidence in putting him higher, even if he wasn't really trying against Doffy. Additionally, Fujitora does have a broken devil fruit. However, pretty much all the Admirals have incredibly broken devil fruits, and while Fujitora probably does have the best of the lot, with the exception of possibly Kizaru and Sengoku, I don't think it makes up for the relatively peaceful attitude Fujitora has for fighting. Thus, number 6 is a fair spot for my favorite Admiral. This is possibly the most controversial pick on this list. However, number 5 goes to the recently revealed Admiral Greenbull Ryokugyu Greenbull. Now, Greenbull is definitely a weird one, as we know very little about him. He has a plant-based devil fruit that allows him to leech some moisture out of people, as he does the King and Queen. However, in my opinion, that doesn't seem to be one of the more powerful fruits among the Admirals. Additionally, I wouldn't give him too much credit for defeating both Yonko commanders, as they are both obviously severely weakened from having lost to both Zoro and Sanji respectively. That being said, the reason I have Greenbull above Fujitora is more narratively based than anything. Sakazuki trusted sending Greenbull to Wano, which when you think about it for a second is absolutely insane for him to do, unless oh my god! Wano is home to multiple different monsters, including Luffy, Law, Kid, Zoro, Sanji, Killer, Yamato, the Samurai, and more. So I seriously don't know what one Admiral could do about all these enemies, even if they are injured. It's really hard to say what Greenbull is capable of, as we obviously don't know a lot about him as of yet, but I believe for now, number 5 is a fair spot for the newly revealed Admiral. Number 4 goes to the Yellow Monkey, Kizaru. The laid-back speedster Borsalino contains one of the most powerful devil fruits in the entire series, that being the Pika Pika no Mi. With this, Kizaru is able to move at light speed, as well as create light-based attacks, including Amaterasu, Awa no Murakumo, and Yasukani no Magatama, my apologies. Additionally, he fights with a similar style to characters like Sanji, as he uses light speed enhanced kicks to deal devastating damage to his opponent. Kizaru has on multiple occasions shown to be a dependable and experienced fighter for the Marines, and I believe he has shown to be more impressive than characters like Fujitora. Sentomaru even claimed that before Rayleigh, he's never seen anyone stop Kizaru before. That being said, the fact that Kizaru was evenly matched with an older Rayleigh and kicked away by characters like Marco makes me inclined to say that Kizaru is not as immediately impressive as the 3 characters above him. Most importantly though, his absolute laid-back attitude towards fighting holds him back when related to some of the more threatening members higher up on this list. Like the fact he wasn't able to kill or capture any of the worst generation members in Sabaody definitely doesn't help Kizaru's case of putting him higher up on this list. Additionally, I believe Kizaru being the fastest character in the series tends to make him slightly overhyped. The problem is that when all the characters on this list possess observation hockey, as well as the fact characters like Marco Rayleigh and Ben Beckman seemingly can catch up to him, Kizaru's light speed comes off as a little less impressive than on paper. Still, Kizaru is an absolute monster, and I'm excited to see what he has to show for later in the series. Now this may be a surprising addition to this list, but number 3 goes to Sengoku the Buddha. He was an admiral in his younger days and is listed as an admiral on the One Piece wiki, so he's added to the list. This is also one of the few characters where I won't be ranking them by their current version, as I personally think a more fun and relevant version of Sengoku to use is from Marineford. Now the Sengoku is an absolute monster able to battle against all of the Blackbeard pirates, including the newly added members from Impel Down. He holds one of the most powerful devil fruits in the entire series, and with it, he's able to form shockwaves that can clash with shockwaves from the Guragura no Mi. Sengoku is also a character belonging to the older generation, with characters like Garp, Roger, Whitebeard, and Shiki, and with these monsters being the most prevalent characters in the world of One Piece at the time, demands Sengoku also be a monster himself. Mainly what puts Sengoku higher up than Kizaru on this list is his attitude towards fighting. Sengoku is a serious fucking dude who gets shit done. He's not laid back like Kizaru or lazy like Aokiji. He's almost a less authoritarian version of Sakazuki. These personality traits, as well as his insane strength in his own right, make me believe 3rd is a fair position for Sengoku. And number 2 goes to one of my favorite admirals, the former admiral, Blue Pheasant Aokiji, now only known as Kuzan. One of my favorite scenes ever of Kuzan is in the Robin flashback, when Sakazuki blew up the civilian fleet, which was filled with innocent people on the off chance that people associated with the Ohara scholars would be on that ship. Kuzan's face during that scene gives me chills every time, and is one of the main reasons he has cemented himself as one of my favorite characters in the series. Now, about what's actually relevant to this list, Kuzan's insane strength. Being Sengoku's recommendation for his successor as Fleet Admiral, it's fair to say Kuzan holds the most just morals of the 3 original admirals, but also is recognized as significantly powerful as well. While Jozu was distracted, Kuzan jumped at the opportunity and immediately froze him completely over, causing Jozu to lose an arm and be put out for the rest of the Marineford. Being able to immediately one-shot a second commander level character in a matter of seconds is more impressive than most of the admirals below him have ever done. However, the most clear reason why Kuzan is number 2 on this list is the fact that he and the number 1 spot have been given a narrative role as the 2 most important admirals, even both being the candidates for Fleet Admiral. This, along with what I mentioned prior, is enough for me to believe that Kuzan is easily the 2nd strongest admiral. No surprise here, but number 1 goes to the rival of Kuzan and the current Fleet Admiral of the Marines, the man formerly known as Red Dog Akainu, but now only as Sakazuki. This is an obvious pick, as besides Garp, the literal hero of the Marines, Sakazuki has easily been the most impressive Marine we've ever seen. His Magu Magu no Mi is one of the most destructive and devastating powers in the entire series, and we see the threat of it on multiple occasions. From raining down the battlefield with Magma Fist, to melting part of Whitebeard's face off, to punching a hole through Whitebeard's chest, to his most famous scene of overpowering and eventually killing Ace, we've seen Sakazuki absolutely destroy everything that walks in front of him. The reason he's above Kuzan is obvious, as the 2 actually fought, and after a long hard fight, Sakazuki eventually won, both characters permanently changing the environment of Punk Hazard after it. As a side note, although Kuzan lost this fight is easily one of his best feats, as the fight lasts for 10 days straight, and both were seriously wounded after, meaning that in general, the 2 characters are most likely relative. One of the biggest reasons Sakazuki makes it to the top of this list is how deadly his attitude of fighting is. His absolute justice mantra is extremely dangerous, as he will fight with 100% of his strength in order to kill whoever he deems a danger to society. All in all, like I said, Sakazuki was an obvious number 1 pick, and fairly so for a character that is likely one of the final bosses from Monkey D. Luffy himself. And that's it, the list of the most powerful admirals in One Piece. This is how I'd spread out the characters by tiers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more anime and One Piece videos in the future. Also leave a comment with your list, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. And with that, I will see you later.